But first up, as you guys all know, we've been following this very closely. In a bombshell announcement, the Federal Reserve Governor Chris Waller has urgently called for an immediate interest rate cut. As you saw in the video, he went on to say, we need to start cutting rates next meeting, which is coming up. As we touched on all week last week, these job numbers kept falling in, and they were awful. Well, Scott Bessent, Secretary of the Treasury, had an amazing interview this afternoon explaining what is actually happening.
Chris, if things are so bad, why was the GDP 3.3%? Why is the stock market at a new high? Because, with President Trump, we care both about big companies and small companies. And you're quoting big companies, but the big company index, the S&P, is at a new high.
Hasbro says they're going to have to increase their prices. Goldman Sachs says 86% of the tariff revenue collected so far has been paid by American businesses and consumers. So just bottom line, Mr. Secretary, do you acknowledge that these tariffs are a tax on American consumers?
No, I don't.
Even though you have companies saying they are going to have to increase prices, and given the fact that 86% of these tariffs
you're quoting Goldman Sachs.
Yes, Goldman Sachs.
I made I made a good career trading against Goldman Sachs.
Okay.
As you know, Goldman Sachs pulls a lot of weight in the financial world, but as you heard from Scott Bessent coming out and saying, I made a good career trading against Goldman Sachs, so he thinks he has contrary information, obviously being inside the actual department. We do know that the GDP numbers were spectacular for the last quarter. Scott Bessent says he also has a rebuttal for this as well. Jobs are being created. Scott Bessent had a rebuttal for this as well. Take a listen.
What we are seeing is the jobs that are being created are going to either native-born or legal Americans. Most of the jobs created under the Biden administration, they went to illegal aliens.
Well, and I think that there would be a lot of debate over the fact that they went to illegal aliens, but let's keep
no. That's the fact.
Okay.
So he does say the fact is that a lot of the jobs that were being held, that we've gotten rid of, were held by illegal aliens. And now the new job replacement is coming with native-born Americans. And as we all know, we did just see a firing at the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the person who was actually putting these numbers together. And Howard Lutnick comes out and says that was a major part of this whole problem.
This is of numbers, though, that come out of a group like BLS. What the American public, what the world public, the CEOs in America, the Fed, anybody who's making decisions on these numbers, actually, they don't want someone who's there to win. They just want somebody who's there going to give them the most accurate, timely numbers that possibly exist. Just accuracy is probably the only thing that they want. So what I'm asking is today, when we see those numbers, whether we should believe they're accurate.
I think they'll get better because you'll take out the people who are just trying to create noise against the president. Take out the people trying to create noise. Let's get the accurate numbers, because this is going to be the greatest growth economy, right? 6 months from now, a year from today, as these trillions of dollars of plants and factories. You've seen all these pictures. There are just so many factories going in. The employment situation in America is going to be so impressive. Look, we've got 3% GDP growth. Nothing wrong with the growth we're going to have the rest of this year. But the Donald Trump economy, the explosive power of his tariff policy, his plants being built in America that come home and build advanced manufacturing in America, when that comes starting 6 months from today to a year from today, you're just going to be impressed. I'm going to come on your show and I'm going to make you say, Donald Trump was right. And we are all impressed.
Now, personally, I live in Southern California. I don't see massive growth industries coming into play as far as major manufacturing plants, major technology scenarios, but that's Southern California. Some Northern California stuff is going on. And I do know, in fact, you watching this right now, if you live in a state that you know for a fact that factories are being built around you, ready to be employed, let me know down in the comments. The other thing that we have to keep in mind, these plants, they can go up rather quickly. And we are only 7 months into Donald Trump's term. We do see a lot of companies saying they're going to invest billions of dollars building factories here for workers. So for the next 6 months, are those plants being built and staffed? And then finally going into 2026, 2027, will those jobs actually be in place? And a big update, the Senate has updated us on the crypto structure bill to clarify the tokenized stocks and securities will remain regulated as security.
We did stable coins first. The Genius Act passed. It's now law. And that provided the momentum we needed to do market structure. So the House passed a market structure bill. It's called the Clarity Act.
Right.
We in the Senate are going to mark up in the Senate Banking Committee a market structure bill in September. The Ag Committee will do theirs in October because they've got the commodities jurisdiction. The Senate Banking Committee has the securities jurisdiction. Then we'll fold them together with clarity and hopefully get this across the finish line by Thanksgiving or at the latest Christmas.
So we do have promising scenarios coming for legislation in crypto as well. And a lot of that legislation is designed to merge the traditional finance world with the crypto finance world. And as we know, Robinhood's CEO is also trying to do that on their platform. And he came out with a big time announcement saying it's time to move beyond Bitcoin and meme coins into real world assets.
I believe it will make it easier to invest in American companies if you're outside the world. It will also bring the markets into 24/7 and fully on-chain and get all the benefits that crypto technology levies on these traditional assets. So I think it's time to move beyond Bitcoin and meme coins into real world assets that exhibit fundamental utility.
This is huge for the crypto space because platforms like Robinhood are already a massive gateway for retail investors. And Tenev's push for real world asset mainstream adoption is definitely picking up speed. I mean, imagine owning a piece of a skyscraper or a rare painting with just a few clicks on your phone, and that's the future that he's betting on. For crypto investors, this means projects focused on tokenization could see major growth. So keep an eye on chains like Ethereum, Solana, and spoiler alert, XRP, which we'll talk about next. And speaking of XRP, let's talk about why it's making waves right now. XRP is the native asset of the XRP ledger, which is designed for fast, low-cost border payments. We're talking transactions that settle in seconds for fractions of a penny. But here's the exciting part. The XRP ledger is rolling out smart contract capabilities through new extension. This means that XRP isn't just for payments anymore. It could power decentralized apps, tokenized assets, and more. And with Robinhood's CEO talking about real-world assets, XRP's tech could be a perfect fit for tokenizing real-world assets like property or bonds. Plus, posts on X are buzzing about XRP's potential as a neutral bridge for global liquidity, especially if rate cuts fuel market growth. And let's not forget, Grayscale is announcing that it is their first one-year anniversary Grayscale XRP Trust. XRP is the native digital asset for XRP Ledger, built for fast, low-cost payments with emerging smart contract capabilities. So exciting times for Grayscale, and thank you, Grayscale, for being behind XRP for over a year now. And the reason this is important is XRP's evolving tech ties directly into real-world asset trends, making it a hot topic for viewers interested in practical crypto investment. And before we jump into the charts, let's talk about Eric Trump, who continues to come out and just push crypto in everyone's face.
Every single day. A year ago, Jamie Dimon was saying, we're not going to touch cryptocurrency, and now they're probably running at digital assets faster than anyone. You see what BlackRock's doing. You see, as I mentioned, what Schwab's doing. You see what nation states are doing. You see what states in this country are doing. Look what Texas just voted on, right? In their legislature, literally being able to custody Bitcoin on their balance sheets, right? So all of a sudden you've got all these cracks in the dam that are breaking. The people who get in now are the people who are getting in early. I believe that with all of my soul. And this is a global asset. This is an asset that everybody wants. This is an asset. It's probably the only asset in the world that has limited supply. There's 21 million. There will never be another one, unlike gold, unlike other commodities. And I'm just watching it from afar as for the first time, the capital markets really have access to it or getting access to it. And so I think cryptocurrency is in its infancy. And I think the trajectory of Bitcoin and of digital assets is going to be parabolic. And I really think we're going to have one of the greatest companies in the ecosystem. And that was launched, obviously, minutes ago.
So if you're watching this video and you're into crypto, you are a genius. You are early. As he's talking about, and as we've been talking about for years now, crypto is going parabolic. And a lot of you guys, and us included, have been involved in crypto way before the Trumps. So this is exciting to see massive companies, massive people, massive states, massive countries getting behind crypto altogether. And if you're getting value out of this video, don't forget to subscribe right now and also smash that thumbs up.